I'm going to start this podcast with a question because it's in the chat and I love the question. And it's very Lower Decks of us to do this. The question coming from Mars, does the dragon get a uniform? What do you think?
Yes.
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 I think
At least a costume.
at least a pip. Like a half pip, I think. Yeah. Anyway, that was a fun question to start with. Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I'm your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew. This side is some sweet Orion booty. Vice Admiral Eric was gonna be here, but he couldn't tonight. But his alternate self eats yogurt on the pod instead of ice cream. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but here we are. Captain Hawk is here. His alternate self is Picard's long-lost twin, not a hologram. Sub-Commander Draft is here, and her alternate self would be Kuwat Malat, not Tal Shiar. Yeah. And Commander MC is here, and her alternate self hates the Kelvin verse and wants nothing to do with it.
No version of MC hates the Kelvin verse.
No?
It's like it binds the universes together.
Oh my God.
So I'm the evil twin.
Well, no, Tal Shiar's evil and Kuwat Malat's good, right? Well, yeah. So you are. Yes,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
the evil twin. Yeah, you are. Yep. MC, there's got to be a version of you in the multiverse that hates the Kelvin verse. It just has to be a thing.
It's the version that hates the Kelvin verse that was made by Quentin Tarantino in
There
that
it is.
universe.
Yes, there it is.
There it is.
Mhm.
Gene in the chat is saying the dragon gets a onesie, which nothing wrong with a dragon in a
Nice.
onesie. I'd do that. I
Onesie with
used to put my
2 feet,
dogs in
4
onesies.
feet, or like 2 hands and 2 feet, like how?
2 feet and little like rolled up sleeve arms like a dino, like.
And
It's gonna depend on what kind of dragon we're talking about. Like totally Western dragon, or are we going more like your Chinese dragon? Like what kind of space dragons are being sent to Billups?
4 legs and 2 wings, 2 wings and 2 legs. Like what is it? We want to know.
I want to know what this dragon. Maybe we'll see it later in the season. I don't know. This week, my friends, Lower Decks is back, and I know that we've all been waiting like ridiculously too long for this. I know everybody on the Discord was excited. New Trek every Thursday for 9 more weeks. That's nice. 8 more weeks because we got 2 episodes. Boo. But it is back. It's our review of the first 2 episodes of season 5, Dos Cerritos and Shades of Green. We're going to play around with the format of the show a little bit tonight because we like to have fun and change things up sometimes. We're actually going to start with the whole Tendi on Orion arc and do all of that. And then we will go and move on to the shenanigans on the Cerritos and getting rid of capitalism. All that fun stuff. But before we get to Lower Decks, we need to do a very brief wrap up of New York Comic Con, which was this past weekend. Patrons, I'm sure you'll understand we have a ton to get to. This is going to be a long show, even with 4, not 5 of us. So we love all of you. A quick shout out to our amazing EPs, our Badmirals, Simon Stager, Commander Chris Waterman, Tara Poland, Brett Jones. Tara, a special congrats to you and your New York Liberty for winning their first championship. And it was also fun seeing Kate Mulgers play with you last night. It's fantastic. You should all go see it. It was so good, y'all. Like, so good. New York
Sports.
Sorry?
Go
sports. Sports ball. Yes. And support local theater. New York Comic Con. We weren't there. We had some people on the ground, which was awesome. We wish we were there. Let's go right into section 31. I personally expected a lot more. I thought there was going to be more. There wasn't. But they did give us what we all wanted to know, which was the release date. January 24th. We're only a couple of months away. How's everybody feeling about section 31? I don't think we learned a little bit more about the characters, but that's about it. I didn't put an order for this, so speak up if you want to talk about it.
I'm glad that we have a date so that we can, have a time to scramble to get ready for actually talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like based on the first trailer, I'm really anticipating this. They've cast it really well. So right off the bat, we had that to look forward to. This seems like it seems like more like a Star Trek movie from the novels that we read, and the other half of this universe that kind of lives in down in the dirt, doesn't have like all the Federation technology. So that part I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. Treff, I know you said that movie's going to be too sexy for you.
They look so hot. Have you seen? I want to know more.
I want to know more too. I got to say, I did get a little bit of a chuckle, a laugh out of the one poster that has Giorgio on it, and she's got the dagger, and it looks like she's calling for the Dragon Zord for the Green Ranger. Kind of made my day.
Just like
Which I'd be here for.
The guy who is most probably a Romulan, right?
Which one are we thinking?
Romulan.
He either a Romulan or a Vulcan, but he looks a little too happy to be Vulcan. Yeah,
he looks like up to no good. I think most probably Romulan. Also, I want to say I'm obsessed with that color, the color scheme that they chose for that movie. It's so beautiful, and that yellow, green, neon color is everywhere now. Like I saw it, like I was watching What We Do in the Shadow, and they have like beautiful costume with like that color, and I'm like, I'm here for it. It's really, really beautiful scheme, especially for Star Trek that usually doesn't go into these colors. So I'm here for it.
It's a little Star Wars. It's a little prequel era Star Wars. It's bright, right? Like it's vibrant.
Yes. Yeah, but it's also very sci-fi and kind of like, I don't know. It's good. I like it. I don't know the posters and stuff, but they're good. Keep them.
I like them a lot.
Keep them work.
Yeah. Jenny just joined the chat. Says, just joined. What's up? What's up is Lower Decks. We got a doppelganger Cerritos, and we got a Orion War. That's what's up. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be fun. Right now, we're talking about New York Comic Con. Starfleet Academy. I'm going to start with this because I have some opinions. I'm kind of pissed that this show gets a second season renewal before it hasn't even started fucking filming yet. And Lower Decks is only going 5 seasons. Like, I'm giving you one of these guys. Like, really? Are you kidding me? Stop it. Holy shit! Guess who's in the chat, y'all? We got one of our OG hosts in the building. Vocal Tomes Brits in the house. Welcome back. It is good to have you. That's dope. That just made my night. This sucks. And I'm happy that we're getting another Star Trek show, but this sucks. Give that renewal to Lower Decks, and let's see if Starfleet Academy is good first. What do you guys feel about this?
I think it's about the new Skydance thing. I think it's just that's not like... There were things that were decided before the merger, like Lower Decks was finishing and stuff like this, and then there are things that were part of the package that they were buying. And I think they negotiated that if they were buying the shows, then the show would take 5 seasons, 2 seasons, and stuff like this. I think it was pre-decided because of all the changes that they've been in Paramount. I think it's dumb like you because it doesn't give them any time to see audience feedback and also to deal with like, world's event that may impact like stories. So very often fictions catch back, like it's very close to reality for no reason at all. But when big thing happens, then they have to change stuff, and shooting 2 seasons in a row, if they take bad decision, I don't think they will, but poor decision in season 1. We saw how Disco redirected after season 1, for example. Disco made a lot of decision in between seasons because of feedback from viewers. So I don't know. I think it's a risky thing, but I don't think it's them. I do think it's like
the merger,
the situation in Paramount that pushes them. I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know, but that's what I think.
I don't think you're talking out of your ass. I do entirely agree with you on that because you can look at it. While Discovery was able to course correct because of the time between seasons, we can see and I know you and I have especially dunked on Strange New Worlds season 2. They didn't have time to course correct on Strange New Worlds season 2 because there was commentary made in season 1, but they had already shot season 2, so they couldn't really do anything. As I thought it was weird that they had renewed this before they even started filming season 1. But as Giraffe said, there's lots of, studio politics involved. But considering I have not seen a single frame of footage for this, I would much rather have another season of Lower Decks.
Yep.
Yes, I feel the same. And I feel everybody's raised really good points with this. The only thing I can add is that probably they agreed to a second season in advance of the first one, and that maybe to lock down certain actors to the role.
That's a good point. They have a lot of big names on that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like Holly Hunter starring in it it's a big thing, you know, and Paul Giamatti playing the villain for the first season.
Yeah, hopefully he's not a one and done, like kill him off either, because that's like a waste of Paul Giamatti in my opinion. Let's talk about some good news with the show, because I'm stoked for this. I've loved her since Orphan Black. Tatiana Maslany guest starring in season 1. Also, if you don't know her from Orphan Black, she was She-Hulk. Just super awesome casting here. How cool is this, guys?
Canada.
It's all that new money.
I know. Oh man, all that new money. Yeah, it is. We will see how that goes. I want to know who she's playing, because you don't just cast her in like a guest star.
No, one and done.
Like she's a very special actor. So
yes.
We will see where that goes. We are moving right on along. Strange New Worlds, Rhys Darby. Cast. Giraffe, I know you love him because of Our Flag Means Death. Playing a familiar but new character in the series. What do y'all think this means?
First of all, I love him since What We Do in the Shadows.
Sorry, good point. Okay, yep. We
are werewolves, not werewolves. Love that man. And he has also an episode of X-Files, the X-Files. If you have not watched that episode, it's called The Weremonster, and it's in my opinion, one of the best episodes of X-Files. It's my favorite episode. That man is so good at being funny. I cannot wait. It's gonna be, it's a thing I'm gonna wait and enjoy, and I hope this episode is gonna be good. But I know it's gonna be good because Rhys Darby is amazing. And again, it's all that new money.
Yeah.
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 But a familiar figure, there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the life of me, I can't really say who he'd play as a familiar character.
It's got to be a version of like a Trelane or a Q. I know it's a new character,
first
but
thing I thought was
Trelane.
a Trelane, right? But I don't know.
Serena Jones.
Oh.
Riley, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, the phrasing familiar but new does seem to be interesting to me. That can mean just so many things. Is this a member of a species that we've seen once and we're going to see again? I don't know. One thing that came to my mind is a version of Dax.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
A Trill.
Yeah, that's totally possible. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, because we know Dax was around at that time,
didn't
right?
Didn't she have a fling with Bones?
Yeah. When she was, I think probably when Bones was still in school. So I think probably a few years before now.
I forget which version of Dax it was. I don't think it was Curzon. I think he was not old enough for maybe.
No, it was Emma. It was Emily. It was the gymnast.
Yeah. That's funny. That's so Bones. I like all these theories. Obviously, I think 2025 we'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping not too long after Section 31. Finally, I invite people to go back a lot of episodes, to our San Diego Comic-Con wrap-up, where we talked about the clip that they showed there for Strange New Worlds, and pretty much a universal outcry of just bullshit of what that clip was. New York Comic-Con, course correcting. We get this amazing 3-minute clip, Pike making this decision to, ram the Gorn ship, leave them behind, but track them. I think it was Lieutenant, why can't I remember her name? I love her. I can't remember.
Mitchell.
Mitchell, thank you. To fire the dud torpedo and use it as a tracker. This scene is just badass. It's everything that you'd want from like the continue of hegemony. Thank God it was this and not the other thing. What did you guys think about this?
Oh, this was awesome. I was trying to think, why would they show that, that stupid non-comedy scene at San Diego and leave this for this? But I finally figured it out. I'm pretty sure it's because this is a very effects-heavy scene, so they probably needed to finish it up, and it was only ready for New York. But yeah, this is something that's actually getting me hyped. Like, it's, it carries on from the cliffhanger, because one of the problems with the one that they showed at San Diego, it's like, oh, well, we know everybody's okay now. I mean, we knew they were going to be okay,
yeah, but it still sucks.
Yeah.
I did laugh at a few people using that as an argument. It's like, well, now they know everybody's okay. It's like, one, this clip actually didn't show everybody was okay. The one that they showed at Comic-Con did. So, choose what you're gonna judge. Yeah. Anybody else on this clip? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was super anxious when they said they were gonna show something. I was so anxious. I was like, please, 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 please. And that was an amazing scene. They could have given even half that scene, and it would have been already so good. And I think that like that gives a bit like Strange New World from season 1. There was like high stakes and like battles and like the Memento Mori, for example, that like brought me back to that episode. And I do hope that season 3 is gonna have more of that tone rather than the comedy one that we saw in San Diego Comic-Con. But we'll see.
We will.
Fingers crossed.
You guys know me. I've always been like more apologetic with Strange New World, so I'm just hoping and praying that it's not a dud for season 3. Lastly, MC, this wasn't part of Comic-Con. They did show the first episode. There was a Lower Decks panel, but MC also during that time wrote her review of the first 5 episodes, spoiler-free, of Lower Decks. So if you hadn't had a chance to go and read that, it is up on our website, strangerpod.com/blog/ whatever the URL is. You should go read it. It's very good. I think it's very fair. You did a good job, MC.
Thank you.
But we are here now to talk about the first 2 episodes of Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, Dos Cerritos and Shades of Green. We are continuing our order as we keep going. Tonight will be Giraffe, MC. Eric was going to go, so it'll be Giraffe, MC, Hawk, followed by myself. As I mentioned, we are going to stay on Orion for the first portion of the show, and then we are going to go on to the Cerritos for the second portion of the show. I think it's going to be fun because I really just want to be on Orion for the whole show. But we can't. The Mistress of the Winter Constellations, or as Tendi put it, I'm the goddamn Mistress of the Winter Constellations. I wanted the sound clip. I didn't have time to get it. It begins with Tendi undercover, being really cute, playing this dude for a fool, scouting out some booty. Her crew, led by Astrid, attacks the ship. Tendi lets her cover down as her Orion crew. They're about to slice and dice and do some killing. Tendi says maybe let's leave some alive to, instill even more fear. Astrid does get to take her trophy, the dude's like little nose prescription ring, which don't know what that does for you, but good for you, dude. What do we think about the cold open and Tendi's vision or version of pirating? Draft.
Great cold opening right away. We're with Tendi. I think, when we left her at the end of season 4, there was a lot of question and a lot of like, it was the big cliffhanger of season 4, in my opinion. So it was so good to see her, in her element, being the cleaner.
Really? Yeah.
And the white face cracked me up. I'm surprised they didn't make a joke about it with all the fake green and so on that we had in was it season 3? Season 2?
Season
3.
But I think it's season 2. It might be season 2. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'll have to see.
I'm sorry. And we see that she's still clinging to the values she learned in Starfleet, but all the jokes about growing up in dungeons and so on. I don't know. It's humor. Like it's so funny, and the way it's delivered, it was hilarious. Like people in the room, like yesterday, were laughing so much that they were missing like every 2 jokes because they were still laughing from the first joke when the second joke was landing. And I was like, oh my God, you're missing so many good lines. You need to rewatch it. But yeah, great cold opening. And reference to the collector that we love to hate. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. I'm wondering how the crowd was. If anybody else in the chat was at New York Comic Con, I'm wondering how it was in the big Empire Hall, how people reacted as well. Who's up?
Oh, by the way, does he have the stone that, what is it called again? Like
the Bajoran stone, right? Yeah, he does. He totally does.
And I'm like, that thing has been in every single. He has been stolen by so many people at this point. I don't know what to say. It's supposed to be on Picard's desk. In Picard, it's in Picard's like museum or whatever.
I think it's just become like a recurring Star Trek joke now. It has to be.
So the thing is that maybe like Picard had actually a reproduction, and I want to say that I'm sorry about like blaming him for stealing archaeological artifacts. If it's actually a reproduction and the real one is stolen by a collector, okay, my bad.
Hey,
I'll take that. Hey. I'll take that one.
Strength. MC.
Yeah, no, I love this opening. I mean, I love Tendi. I love the Orions, and so I love getting to see them pirating and seeing them pirate against the collectors. The collectors really do seem like the natural enemy of the Orion pirates, because who else in Star Trek has anything? I mean, other than maybe seeing them go up against Ferengis. But, you know, the Ferengis are mostly a joke. So, yeah, I like seeing them go up against the collectors, and Tendi with her disguise was great. And, you know, I'm the mistress of the Winter Constellation. I don't know what that is.
I really did think it was Tendi who threw the knife at first, though. Like, the first time we watched him, I was totally convinced. I'm like, she's not going to kill people, but she will stab a bitch.
Yeah.
Did she shoot first?
Definitely.
Yeah. And seeing the mix of the clash of Starfleet with Orion piracy, I mean, certainly that will come more into play later on in this episode. So I think it is really interesting. And the Orions are a species that are just, we've seen the Orions since the very first pilot of Star Trek. And it's only, I'd say, like through Lower Decks and Discovery that we've really gotten to know them. And I am so here for it.
I know watching, if you don't have the Blu-rays for Lower Deck Season 4, Mike talks a lot about, like, even before we get to actually do it here, like wanting to spend more time on Orion. I think he actually, maybe jokingly, but I kind of took it seriously, like wanted to do a whole Orion movie. That would be dope. Yeah. Hawk.
Another great cold opening in that for especially for a season opener. They're on top of their game as far as Easter eggs, and that they could have taken the easy route and maybe got Saul Rubinek back to do Kivas Fajo and that, but no. Instead, they do the other dude he was trying to impress with Data, right?
Yep.
I still remember watching that as a kid, and it's like, how do they do that with the nose and that? That's just that weird thing that comes out. And then to throw in that line, it's prescription.
Like, just what does that do for your body? Like, does it help with your sinuses? Like,
it might be a nasal decongestant, that, but like that's a lot.
Maybe it's not even their nose. Like, you don't know.
That's a good point. That could be like their dick, or their genitals.
Butt plug. You don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's really, this one really went to show Tendi's duality in that, you know, it's just, yes, she is the mistress of the Winter Constellation. She is, you know, this was obviously like her plan, and she pulled it off flawlessly in its execution. But there's that side of her in that, you know, it's like she was in Starfleet, they value every life, but also in that, you know, Tendi was also in medical sciences and that, and as someone who worked in healthcare and that, you know, she's also got that added layer. She's like, do no harm, right? So even when she's pulling off badass assignments, she is. What are we laughing at?
Oh, sorry, Giraffe's having a party in her room. He missed it. That? He totally missed it.
Oh my God! This is not. I'm a bit freaking out. I'm sorry.
Fucking poltergeist.
Sorry, your light is changing. Okay.
It's like going on and off, and I didn't touch anything. I'm just sitting here, so I'm.
You
kind
got
of
it. You
freaking
got to
out.
tell your husband to stop pulling EPS conduits.
It's not he.
You got to stop telling the ghost candle to stop pulling EPS conduits. Sorry, Hawk.
That's okay. As I was saying, it brings up her duality pretty well, and it's like it's something that she's going to be experiencing in this and the next episode. And that it, as much as she is familiar with Orion culture and her role as Mistress of the Winter Constellation, and that it's the other side of the Orion equation, the pirating life, and that she's not down with. She doesn't get.
Oh, see, I don't know about that. I think she likes the pirating. She doesn't like the killing. I think she does like plundering a bit, though.
That's the other, but the killing is a big part of pirating life. And that,
it is. It is.
It's like they're outlaws, they're criminals, they are in it for themselves and that. But that's what that's the side she can't get down with.
Yeah, fair.
She had fun being the cleaner in Veritas. So.
Oh yeah, she did. Before we continue, I just want to read Dave Prime's comment. I'm still laughing over the new additions to the opening credits. I really do have to say, like, I love how Mike McMahon's like, oh, it's the final season? Okay, we'll get a Tholian web, we'll get the giant green hand. Oh, shit, and is that V'ger as well? Yep, that's V'ger.
It's V'ger,
yep.
Plus the cylinder thing from Star Trek 4.
That was their last season,
That was the last season.
Yep.
And they added the light behind the title, like in
in season 5 of TNG.
5. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is a great comment from Stress Free K2. Usually I want the indebted crew member to return home, but I love Tendi in her Amazonian homeworld. And I have to say, like, yes, the show could have like teased us some more to do the cold open, right? They could have started us on the Cerritos. I'm really happy they didn't, and that really Tendi for these 2 first episodes is like the A plot. I really appreciated that, and even if she doesn't like killing and even if she doesn't throw the knife, I like seeing her get down and do the pirate thing. I think it's something we're all going to talk about because I think it's something we've all talked about already. I think we actually would have wanted a few more episodes of this, but like what we got was really good, and this cold open was fantastic. Let's move on to the successful pillage, right? They're singing and dancing, and Tendi's like, I'm just going to go back to my ready room. De Erica calls her with a mission to salvage a 300-year-old Orion frigate from the time of the Great Orion Plague, which I'm not the most Orion savvy besides Tendi person.
It's a new thing.
So it's a new thing. We're all on the same page. De Erica tells Tendi that this could be her last mission for her, right? If she completes it successfully, her debt's paid, she can go back to the Cerritos. I want to ask, when you first watched the episode, did you believe De Erica or did you think she was playing Tendi? Giraffe. Uh-oh, is Giraffe frozen?
I think she might have frozen.
Oh, no, Giraffe is frozen. Okay, we'll get Giraffe back. MC.
Yeah. So I did believe De Erica, just because I knew that Tendi was going to be going back to Starfleet pretty quickly. They weren't going to belabor it because we'd obviously seen in the trailers that she came back, and that's one thing that I actually do sadly think that Lower Decks is not really the best at, is that carrying things over. Like we saw that when Freeman was arrested in the first episode of the next season. It's like, oh no, it's fine. So yeah, I did think that she was gonna go back.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. Hawk.
Yeah, I didn't think that she was playing her. I know that's a natural kind of suspicion that you should have, in that with the interactions with her, and that she plays everybody else. That's just her nature. But we saw, like in the last season, and that the connection the two sisters have when it's like, even when they're fighting and that they're talking and they're open with each other. They don't they're not necessarily. We know something was hidden from Tendi in the first 2 episodes, but they're not. Their relationship, wouldn't kind of tolerate that big a deception, right? If she's making her this offer and that it's genuine, and then we know, like, they stick. They do stick to their deals, right?
Yeah, 100%. Giraffe, do you think that when De Erica made the offer for Tendi to come back, to go back, like, you do this for me, you can go back. Was she being for real, or do you think she was playing her?
I think she was. I didn't doubt for her. I don't. Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's all a question of exchange and giving in and giving up and giving out. So I think no, I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
One last mission that's gonna go wrong.
Yeah. I was actually like, if you weren't gonna come on for another minute, I was gonna hit red alert and be like, the candle got her. We gotta do an away mission.
I actually. Okay, I have a ghost story for you all after that.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to hear it. So yeah, I didn't actually. So the only reason I put that question in the outline is as I was writing the outline, I was like, I wonder if any of us thought that. So I threw it in. I didn't personally think of it, but it would be something maybe a Ferengi would do. Maybe not an Orion. Like, Orions are pirates, but they are mostly true to their word. So,
especially to. I feel
it's
like the mafia, it's a syndicate. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and the deal they might offer you might not be the the real deal. So I don't know.
So Tendi and her crew board the derelict vessel, and as they do, MC's gonna smile. They're attacked by blue Orions from TAS.
Blue Orions.
Sorry, Orions. Tendi doesn't want to fight. She's like, don't pull out your disruptors, but of course everybody pulls out their disruptors. Insults are traded. There were some good insults in there, like about being like not honest traders or something. Like, I don't know. There were a couple of really good insults in there. One blue is killed, but as they retreat, Tendi gonna Tendi and like brings him back to life, right? And he's like, oh, what is this trickery? We've noted to the trailer that they were going to show up. But what did we think about the blue Orions being the foil here, Giraffe?
So first of all, headcanon, the rogue gist that gave the position of the ship to De Erica to get Tendi out of problem is actually Petra Aberdeen. And that's a mariner who asked her to go do that to bail out Tendi, because why not? So that bring back Petra Aberdeen. She was cool. I want to see her more. So that the blue Orions cracked me up because I know you hate TAS, but I like it.
I don't hate TAS. I've just never watched it all the way through, and it's hard for me. I have to do it.
No, you have to watch like one episode here and there when you're high, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
Because they make no sense. And then at the end, you're like, I don't know what I should watch, but it was cool. There was a giant Spock and blue Orions. Like, why not? I love the fact that they had these stupid voices from the cartoons in the 70s. Like, that really made me laugh. And I will say, just to be serious for a second, I love the fact that Lower Decks doesn't do races as monoliths. They look the same. Like, Orions have different shade of green already. Yep. Every single one of them. Copy paste like exact same green, and their hair is different color, their skin are different colors, and they're all blue Orions. Why not? Like, why not? They're white Andorians. So I really liked how they designed the Orions. I think it was.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
She was in the middle of a really good point.
She was. Oh man, no, I have to hit it now. Poor Giraffe. We will let her continue her thought when she comes back. MC.
A lot of actually what Giraffe was saying was what I was going to say. I mean, first of all, I am a huge fan of TAS, so seeing the blue Orions come in was just so great. They're in the same uniforms that they were then, so they've been wearing the same uniforms for 100 years, which is really funny. But in terms of like, species as monoliths and how Lower Decks has kind of deconstructed that. I mean, even from like a cultural standpoint, like the way the blue Orions are compared to the green Orions. You know, the green Orions are matriarchal and the blue Orions are patriarchal. You can definitely tell that there's a difference between them. So I really enjoy that. And I mean, certainly it does fit with what we saw in I believe it's the Pirates of Orion is what the episode is called. From TAS, and in the original series, basically the only thing we saw of female Orions was, you know, as the dancing girls. So it's really only been in Enterprise, Discovery, and then Lower Decks where we do get the pirating women narrative, which I really love. Welcome back. Do you want to finish your thought? Because you were in the middle of a great thought.
Listen, I talked a lot until I realized that I was gone.
You talked, the last sentence we heard, and that's like, what I really like about the blue Orions, and then you cut.
Oh, I was speaking about different like shade of green.
Yeah.
Did I get there?
Yeah, you got there.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember, but I'm sure it was very interesting. I'm really sorry. I don't know what's going on.
Like, it was a really good thought. It's okay.
I just have to say that they're working on my condo and there's like doing electricity. So I guess we don't have internet anymore. Fun times.
You're a lot more clearer than you've been the entire night right now, though. So
really?
Yeah.
Yay. Did I say that I liked that they had 70s voice?
Yes.
Okay. Then I don't know. What.
It's all good.
Okay, cool.
MC, were you good?
Yeah, no, basically just kind of following up on everything that Giraffe said, and it's just great to really get into the Orions and show differences while respecting everything that came before it. That's something Lower Decks is really good at. Yeah,
no, it really is. Gene was saying like that TAS can like be a slog to binge, like.
It is, but then I also thought TOS was a slog to binge.
It is.
Don't binge these. Watch them once a week in a like drunk or high. Like for real, they're so much better. Like Spock's brain, if you're high, it's the best episode ever.
I will low key let people in on what this crew has been trying to convince me to do. And that's do like a full TAS review series for the pod. And I said, when there is no more new Trek and we are back in a dark age, we can do TAS. We're
getting closer.
We are getting closer. Hawk, what'd you think about this?
So confession, I never watched TAS. So
I am with you, buddy.
This might be a great project for when we are in a dry spell. So Blue Orions, there was so many contrasts between them, and like with the Tendi and her pirate crew, and that for the simple fact that like I think they're pretty much the Packlids this season.
I hope MC or Giraffe say that in the chat.
I said that.
You did. Yep.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, that they were giving Packlad.
Yeah.
Which
very much heavy Packlid vibes. But it was kind of the perfect counterfoil in that, and they were great comedic foil in that. But like just went to spotlight the differences in that between the female pirates and them. They're in these uniforms. They're they're very dim. It's like they're super aggressive, as we see in the next episode, and they just have no style. Unlike Tendi and her crew, and that all their costumes are like just tailored. They're great. And these guys are just in just these generic uniforms. I'm glad it's another Easter egg for the fans, but they were hilarious.
Go ahead.
I just want to point out that there's only 22 episodes of the animated series, so you could watch one a day for 3 weeks and you'd be done.
All right, I'll think about it. I will give away that officially. I'll keep one a secret because it's a duo cosplay that we're doing, but I will be going as a Blue Orion or Orion to Treckle Island. I'm going all out. I'm doing it. So
I have blue makeup.
You have blue makeup? Let's go.
I bought it for Hades.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I had it.
Yep.
I thought you were going to say you bought it to try to convince your husband to dress up as Nightcrawler.
No, because it's like a light blue. It's like, like an Andorian blue. It's not really a Nightcrawler blue.
Yeah.
I've given up on this. I won't get what I want.
Later on, Tendi and the crew discovered that, or Tendi's crew, I should say, discovers that she rescued the one blue Orion. And they're about to kill her, like, sorry, that's not our way. But they tell that she's got her own pirate code. She's like her own Jack Sparrow. And that killing basically sucks. And like, killing does suck. Like, you don't need to kill to pillage. Instill some fear, hang some people up. Just go your separate ways. Steal all their shit.
That will kill them.
No, I don't mean like hang them. I mean like hang them upside down or tie them up.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean like. We could go there. And her crew actually hate killing too. Like one of them wants to be a dancer. One of them wants to teach ethics. What does the other one want to do?
Baking.
That's right. Yeah, they all have their own ambitions. What do we think about this moment? I thought it was great. Giraffe.
I liked it. I liked it because as much as I like a very one-dimensional villain that all they want to do is murder and be villains, I love the fact that she wants to teach ethics. Do you, girl?
Night classes.
Night
Twice
classes.
a couple times a week.
Like, I vibe with that kind of objectives. I'm like, yeah, I'd like to do that too. And I think it's good because the Orions in Star Trek, I mean, I would say not so much in Discovery, but they've been very unidimensional and, like the slavers and like they were like kind of unsavory ideas attached to Orions that were kind of a little bit of a side of exoticism and like things that I'm glad that Star Trek buried deep enough. I hope. I was glad to see them in Discovery in like that matriarchal society that Enterprise put in the canon, right? Which was great. Good job, Enterprise. I mean, it's not a good episode.
It's still incredibly sexist, but at least it puts them in some power. Yeah.
But at least it's like changes a little bit the idea of the Orions. And Lower Decks really just, drives it to somewhere even more interesting. They are becoming as developed and culturally complicated in the canon as maybe the Vulcans, and that's great. Like, I'm here to see old species get an actual civilization in Star Trek.
Yeah, Jim McMahon actually just said in the chat maybe it'll be like the Ferengi and join the Federation. Maybe.
We hope. That's going to be Tendi's work. She's going to be the Orion Spock.
That's the dream.
Ambassador Tendi.
Yep. MC.
Tendi, this is Tendi being pure Tendi. And you know how much I adore my girl. And it's nice that these other Orion characters are not just these caricatures, and that they actually admire Tendi. They want to emulate her. But then they also completely misunderstand how Tendi did what she was able to do. They're like, oh, you're such a badass that you're able to do whatever you want. And Tendi's just, no, like, I did what I want because I just did it.
Yeah. Bless you.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Good?
I am good. Yeah.
Hawk.
This is the power of Lower Decks. It's like we get to see, them, these, races and characters outside of like, the tropes and that, and just get down, and they're real people in that. I mean, Tendi couldn't have been an anomaly in that, in the way she felt about the lifestyle. It's just the biggest difference was Tendi. She was like, a brilliant, like, student, and was able to, break off in the family and go to the Federation and, have a career there. but again, it just kind of highlights the whole point about the pirate culture and that, yeah, they kind of hate killing and that they all have these dreams and aspirations, but like this, like, the pirate life is cutthroat, and we've heard De Erica talk about, like, she survives assassination attempts before breakfast.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of stuck in the constraints of their lifestyle, and I'm glad, like, it gets put. I'm glad Lower Decks just takes the time to point that out. But like, and also emphasize that if Tendi stuck around, she could have like a real change on the culture itself, and that, finding more like-minded people like her, it would, really kind of turn the course of the society around.
And her family is held in such high regard on Orion, right? She's like her family is one of the top syndicates on the planet. So like everywhere you go on Orion, from the time they went on the Triple Girls trip, everywhere Tendi goes, she's met with either fear and admiration or both at the same time. So I think, if she had stayed, I think you're absolutely right, Hawk. That's a great point.
Oh, they're only the fifth richest planet,
the fifth
family on the planet.
Right?
But I like the fact that she is not judgmental to her people. It doesn't make sense. Like Spock, for example, has like problems with Vulcans.
Yeah.
It's like very clearly he's like, no, fuck all of that. But Tendi, she loves her family. She loves her sister. She wants to, teach the next generation. She's like such a loving character and accepting of accepting the fact that Orions think and do differently, but still wanting to change them through kindness. I think this is very cute. I don't think we had a character like that until now.
I think this is something that Tendi has actually come to, though. I think definitely back in Crisis Point 1, like, we definitely would not have seen Tendi be able to be the mistress of the Winter Constellation, like actually being in Orion. And I think it's only been in the last couple of years as she's kind of gone back to Orion, like at first when she went on the first girls trip with Mariner and was dealing with her Orion cousin. And then when she actually went back to Orion, and it was very clear that it had been the first time that she'd been back since she left for Starfleet. So I think like the whole arc for her of this Orion storyline is her being able to integrate the whole mistress of the Winter Constellation with Tendi, the Starfleet officer, which is awesome. I love it for her.
That is a good point, Giraffe just put in the chat. We got a question about why we all have the same mic, and what we actually legitimately were like 2 years ago. People are like, Giraffe needs a microphone now because she still didn't have one. We finally were able to get her one, but we get the same mic because these are Rodecaster pod mics, and they're $99 each, and I think they're better than the Shure whatever 8-1 whatever the hell they're called. Which I think Hawk has one.
I'm rocking that.
Yeah, I think this is personally better because it's like got great sound for a great price. So anyway,
Are we doing a new ad?
Hey, Rode, sponsor us. We use all of your equipment.
That's true.
It's really true. Is it me? Am I up?
Yes.
I feel like I could just repeat everything Hawk just said because I love this moment so much, and it just doesn't, like, I feel like it shouldn't have come as a surprise, but it did come as a surprise to me. I really did get the impression that they love killing, like even from the previous Orion episodes. Like it's just like it's the pirate life for me, Again, the mafia. Are you doing this because of the mafia thing, Giraffe?
If you look at our civilization, you'd have the impression that everybody loves being up in the morning, and it's not true.
Good point.
So we're all up in the morning.
It's a great point.
And we all go to work like early, and a lot of us hates it, but we all do it for some capitalistic reason. Oh, second episode.
We'll get there. But why I really like this is because the minute she's like, I want to be a dancer, and she literally like pilays into like turning the whole ship on, and like I love that. Speaking of, they discover that the ship they're on is actually an old medical frigate, and of course they're all like, wait, we have those? And they're like, back then we did because there was a plague. And they use laughing gas to take out the blue Orions. and successfully steal the ship. However, they get back to Orion. The Blue Orions declare war because Tendi used unpirate-like tools to win. Yeah, so they declare war. Was it on Tendi's house only, or on all of Orion?
It was Tendi's house, the house of Tendi.
House of Tendi. Okay, so good. Thank you for clearing that up. De Erica does
so Tendi is her last name?
Tendi's her last name.
Yeah.
Devana Tendi. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Devana Tendi. That's true. Oh my God, I'm so tired. Sorry. Don't come at me. Don't DM me. I'm
No,
sorry.
I just immediately heard Mariner in my head going. It's like they call
Wait,
you
that's your
Devana
name?
too.
Yeah. Yeah, so De Erica honors her agreement. She's like, no, this isn't your problem anymore. You can go back to the Cerritos. But I have to say, I thought Tendi was actually going to go back. But Tendi's not, that's not Tendi. That's not who she is. She's like, no, I'm going to see this out. I'm going to help fight in this war and kind of clean up her own mess. Even though I think what she did was perfectly in like the acceptable terms of winning a ship. Thoughts on the war, the escalation, Jeff?
Oh no, it's like, like realpolitik on the Orion. I was like, sure, they're gonna declare war because of laughing gas. I'm here for the mess that unfolds after that. But does it make sense? Oh no. I feel like being cunning is very pirate-like.
Totally.
But I don't know if we're talking about the queen, the pirate queen, but I really like the pirate queen.
The pirate queen.
That's
queen.
the next episode.
Oh, that's the next episode, but you can definitely talk about her now if you want. She's great.
Oh, that's the next episode. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
You could talk about it twice.
You could talk about her twice.
Yeah, no, I really like the fact that their politics makes no sense. So they have syndicates, but they have a queen, but then like what's going on? Like how is that a system? Like they have primes and then mistresses and then like I need
I think
somebody give me like a schematic.
I think you could just look at the Sopranos, like you said, like the mafia. Like there's all different houses, right? But there is still one main mafia boss that all the houses answer to.
She has a dragon.
And she has a dragon.
Not dragon. What is the name?
Gene, where are you? What's the name of the
Bagar?
Oh!
Who is voiced by Mike McMahon himself.
It's legendary.
Fun facts.
Legendary.
That's it.
Nice.
I don't know.
MC.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole idea that Orions have to kill or else like they're being dishonorable seemed kind of weird to me. I liked the whole laughing gas thing. In that it was a medical frigate. It reminded me of Strange New Worlds, those old scientists, when the whole argument about whether or not they were Orion pirates or Orion scientists. So, I mean, I think like it might have been a medical ship, but also it was a little piratey too. So, because everything with Orion's just a little piratey.
Even their guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As for Tendi staying, that makes sense to me. That is, again, pure Tendi. She is not somebody who would leave people who are in need, and her crew are in need, because she doesn't seem to dislike these girls. They're a little murdery, but she does like them still. So I like her staying, and we'll get more into how I feel about that when we talk about the next episode.
Sounds good. Hawk?
Yeah, the escalation. I'm so glad you brought up the Sopranos because that's all I was thinking about when we were talking about this. These are criminal syndicates and that, and very much kind of follow the rules of regarding, I guess, feudalism and that. You know, houses going to war with each other is like nothing new. Like in the Sopranos, they used Tony and Junior had that pretext. Junior used Tony going to see a psychiatrist as the pretext to go into war with him, right? And this is exactly what the Blue Orions are doing with the House of Tendi and that. They're using a pretext. It's a bullshit one and that, using laughing gas. They totally got outplayed by her in that, but because it was not a traditional Orion, way of pirating, they use it as a pretense for war.
Yeah.
So they were always going to go there, but this is the way they decided to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, criminal syndicates and that they're always looking for that, what they perceive as weakness in the other one.
Do you know why I liked Tendi staying so much here? Is because I feel like Tendi staying is like the second part of the last shot of season 4 with her eyes like, let's do this, right? She wasn't scared to go back. She's like, no, I'm going to go back. I'm going to be the mistress of Winter Constellations, and I'm going to kick ass. And yeah, eventually I'm going to come back. And this is her continuing that. She's like, no, let's do this. They want a war. I'm going to give them one. I'm going to kick their ass again, and then I'll go back to my ship. I really like that a lot. Jim brings up a
I
great...
thought you liked it because she was hot in her Mistress of the Winter Constellations outfit.
I can neither confirm nor deny. Listen, I love Tendi, and you can call bullshit on me if you want. I don't tend to look at her sexually. The new shirt that Titmouse put out isn't helping that, but
I haven't seen it yet.
It's really good. Yeah.
I actually have had a theory about Tendi. Maybe it's just wanting to claim her as one of my own, but I was rewatching Parth the Ferengi Heart or whatever the episode's called.
Yeah.
Parth Ferengis, yeah.
And I'm wondering if Tendi might be Ace.
Yeah, maybe. We will see. No, because didn't she like the Moan Dungeons? Didn't she like secretly say she liked the Moan Dungeons?
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, she was kind of into it.
You can like the Moan Dungeons. You can like guys being at your feet without like actually like doing anything with them. Just saying.
Good point. Fair.
It's power.
Yeah, true. Jim brings up a great point. The Blue Orions were saving face by going to war, which is absolutely true. They got embarrassed, they got beat, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna be big boys now. Let's continue on with that to the Pirate War. The next episode opens with Tendi and De Erica sharing. This is like a really sweet moment until it's not. They're like doing like a war simulation, and the mom's like, okay, that's enough pillaging for one night, girls. They're like, oh, just one more minute. It was really sweet. But then De Erica struggles to get up, and Tendi uses her tricorder to try and read her. She's like, get that Starfleet crap away from me. And she gets like really mean really quick and like storms out of the room. Obviously, we learn later in the episode that De Erica's pregnant because Tendi can't help herself and snoops through her logs. By the way, tisk tisk. Did you guys think this was anything else? Or were you really like, she's pregnant? Draft.
To be honest, I had no idea where that was going. When she like faint-ish, I'm like, oh, there's gonna be some. I knew it was a plot point, right?
Yeah.
Pregnant. I was a bit disappointed.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Every time they get so first of all, there's not a lot of pregnancy in Star Trek, thank God, because Star Trek does not do pregnancies very well. Ask Wildman.
Oh, poor girl.
Okay, or like that for Bolian
The
in
boy.
Prodigy.
Oh my God.
Or like
Rutherford?
Bolana in Voyager. Yeah, it's not great. Rutherford had one of the best ones.
I guess he did, yeah.
Fast.
Which
So, like-
Gene Cordero says that he wanted to do more storylines about Rutherford
He said-
becoming a father.
He said it was his favorite moment in him being Rutherford. It was like, oh, the male preg. Okay, Gene is gonna be happy. Yeah, I was like, oh, she's pregnant. Nah, it's kind of an easy like, oh, she's gonna be like, but I do like what they've done with it. So I was a bit like, I don't really care about it, but I think it's good because it also brings back Tendi into being part of her family in ways that are not only being a badass. And I mean, it still includes her being a badass
For 14 years.
not forced. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not like part of a deal or stuff like this. Something she will want to do. So yeah, plus minus, I don't know. I'm always kind of meh about pregnancies in shows.
Fair. Yeah. MC?
I legit knew she was pregnant the second they said that she was eating a lot of snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as soon as that happened, I'm like, oh, they're gonna say that she's pregnant. I didn't care for this plot.
Fair.
And mostly because Tendi, her part of the plot is so stereotypical.
Like stereotypical for her character?
No, for like any pregnancy plot,
Oh,
like
okay,
in
I got
any
you.
sitcom,
Yeah.
it's so like expectant father just like being overprotective, and I just thought that they could have done more. But in terms of it as a character thing, it kind of speaks to how separate from the Orion culture Tendi is. Because while she has started to integrate more of this Mistress of the Winter constellation identity into who she is, she's still Starfleet, and Starfleet worries about things like pregnancy. Meanwhile, Orions apparently give birth while they're sword fighting.
I'm into it, by the way.
But Starfleet has like pregnant officers going around in like wars, basically. And you're like, what is going on?
Listen, we done
No
known this
rules.
about Starfleet.
No rules, no OSHA, no HR.
And then they have to transfer babies into, the station number 2.
Is it the whole thing about transporting babies out of people should just be the thing in Star Trek? You don't have to give birth; you just transport the baby, whoop whoop, and then that's all done. Like B'Elanna had it bad. We should do an episode about pregnancies in Star
Oh
Trek.
my God, we need to. Let's fucking do it.
There
Let's
are
do
so
it.
many things to be said. Like
You feel like they should have artificial
Trip.
wombs or something.
Trip. We can speak about Trip.
Totally can.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot what was. Sorry, Hawk.
I'm glad I'm having a good time listening to this. For the half a second, I thought that there might be something else. It was like, oh my God, it's going to be some debilitating illness that's going to force Tendi to have to take over the role as the head of the family and blah. No, yeah, turned out to be a pregnancy, which is kind of awesome because it's another way they kind of duped us again. We all know that whenever there's some sort of cliffhanger moment at the end of the season, it's going to get resolved either in the first or the second episode of the season. So this was a kind of way to kind of deke you out a little bit while you still also, living up to standards and like ending a cliffhanger with a pretty basic storyline. The whole pregnancy thing was probably, and Tendi trying to look after her sister during this whole thing, while not letting her know that she was snooping through her logs and found out. That was the most tension I felt from the episode.
Fair. For me, yeah, like I don't mind a pregnancy arc, but what I did mind was like Tendi went very quickly from being like full on Mistress of the Winter Constellations to being she flipped a very quick switch back to 100% Lieutenant Junior Grade Devon Tendi of the USS Cerritos. And for the whole episode, it was just a tiny bit cringy for me. Like the way she's like, let's stage a mutiny. And, why don't you sit down in the captain's chair? And it's okay. And like, even though she's pregnant, I'm with De Erica. She's like, no, I don't want to be some Starfleet loser who captains from a chair. Like, fuck that. And I was like, I was kind of a little bit against Tendi in this moment. So, yeah.
Like we're just summoning more lower decks people
right,
in the chat.
right.
Because we're trying to figure out what the purple bat thingy bird that the pirate.
Name.
I think it's a Bavor or Marvel.
We're gonna have the entire animation team in here.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just want to say, like, Crystal, please say hi to your kids because they're the best.
Aww.
And happy birthday belated to your husband also.
Aww. Happy birthday. And welcome to the chat, Crystal. It's good to have you. So yeah, the Orion Pirate Queen that Giraffe loves, and I love too. She was giving me also the Monden Orion and the Queen were giving me little Ursula vibes, which was cool. She's pissed about the war because there's no booty coming in to Orion, and no booty means no business, and that's just meh. So she orders the two Hasses to settle as in like an ancient solar sail race, a la Ben Sisko. When it starts, Tendi, like we just talked about, is being super overprotective to a point of like nauseum. And De Erica is just not having it. But the Blues, who are not supposed to... Go ahead.
Are you guys trying to come up with the name of the Pyrethian bat?
Yes.
Is that a Pyrethian bat?
Is it a Pyrethian bat?
That's what it says according to the Memory Alpha.
You know, we could have just looked at memory.
No, I was
That's why you have me.
Whole knowledge of weird thing. I was like, is it the Marvel from like the Infinite Vulcan? Because it's also purple and like kind of batty birdie. But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the Blues, who are not supposed to have guns, they fire on the ship, and Erica is like, no, we're gonna board them and fuck their day up. Until Tendi stages her cutiny, which, even though this was a little bit cringy to me, the cutiny was kind of funny. Thoughts on said cutiny, Giraffe?
First of all, I had the wrong crystal, apparently.
Yeah.
Sorry. Still stand for both crystals. They're cool people. Too many crystals. The cutiny?
The cutiny.
Yeah, I don't get Tendi. I don't know. It's her sister. She should know. I don't know why she's acting like this. Also, when you're pregnant, you're not made of sugar. You're gonna be fine. I mean, not everybody's fine, but you know, De Erica looks fine. Also, don't make people do things when they don't want. And you know what I mean? Like she tells you she's fine. She's fine. Just let her do her thing. So yeah. I felt that this whole scene, as much as this is haunted.
The haunting of Giraffe House.
Yeah, it's almost Halloween. So the thing that kind of make me not angry, but like, please just move, is that literally the sail was ripping and Tendi was still trying to stop De Erica. I was like, girl, get going. You need to do something. You know this is important. I feel that the lightness on which Tendi has like she wants to be involved, but then she doesn't follow through to things that are important for the people around her kind of had me annoyed. And I was like, girl, read the room. As much as it worked with her crew to like flip them and the cutiny and so on, your sister knows what's up. She's been here. You've not been here. And she wants to care, and she does care, but it does lead to a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Like the whole like dominoes after that. Yeah.
You know, you bring up a great point, because I think that Tendi is also a great example of folks with ADHD. ADHD is something very near and dear to my heart right now. My wife has ADHD. My daughter just got diagnosed with ADHD today. And Tendi does from time to time tend to hyperfixate on things. This is one of them. If you remember way back when the season premiere, season 2, she hyperfixates on Rutherford's memory and does all this crap to try and fix him, and is not reading the room and not reading the fact that he is freaked out. And that happens again. This is definitely a Tendi character flaw. So yeah, while it can make us all like, you know, be like, it's a little icky, it's also a good study of maybe one of her flaws. So it's a good point, Giraffe. MC.
Yeah, I don't love the telling a pregnant woman what to do with her own body. Like, generally they know how to take care of themselves. I don't think that Erica is going to be needlessly putting herself into danger, because I mean, she really wasn't. She was on a ship. That's not really a dangerous thing in Star Trek, unless you know you're an extra. And Tendi is intentional, or not intentionally, because she's fixated on this, ruining their chances to win. And that's something that is going to affect that kid a lot more than getting knocked into a bulkhead.
Yeah.
because the family titles and their fortune are going to be taken away from them. And I don't think Tendi is taking that seriously enough, probably because she got that Starfleet brain. And like the whole other plot line in this episode is about a post-scarcity world. So she's got a post-scarcity brain in a society that is not, it is the opposite of post-scarcity.
Yeah. Yep. Great point. Hawk?
Yeah, first, I don't want to bash on Cutiny because I do love that title.
I mean, it's adorable.
More mutiny
It really
should be
is.
cutinies.
A gentle mutiny, a Cutiny. Yeah, this was kind of the most sitcom-y like thing I've seen in Lower Decks in a long while. And that, you know, when like somebody has like a bit of information that the other person thinks they're not supposed to have, they're acting strangely and they have no idea why, and it's really pissing off people and that. So yeah, really got sitcom-y at this point. I do agree with everybody's points though, that especially about Tendi with the ADHD and like, you know, and her medical training and that just like naturally says, you know, it's like, you know, she must be a patient. But at the same time, like, look how the women respond to it. It's like, we already knew. It's like, my mother gave birth when I was, you know, right in the middle of a sword fight. Like, this seems to be a pretty natural thing with Orion women. It's like, oh, being pregnant and still pirating and that, you know, it's either, you know, it's either another way of showing like Tendi's disconnect with her own culture, or, you know, I don't know. Maybe she's, you know, I don't know why these stories weren't even really shared with her in that growing up, because it seems to be pretty like a pretty open thing for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So De Erica and Tendi, they hash it out. Turns out De Erica, you know, being the good big sister, little sister, was trying to protect Tendi from having to stay on Orion, because if everybody knew, then she'd have to stay for 14 years and train her to be the new mistress of the Winter Constellations.
Mm-hmm.
But the ship crashes, as we all just talked about, and Tendi was not taking that seriously. But she does come up with a plan, because Starfleet beats the Blue House and destroys the treasure, thinking that they would both win because she was being creative. I don't get it, Tendi. I don't get this move, girl. I don't get it.
Post-scarcity brain.
Post-scarcity brain. Pirate Queen hates it. Strips both houses of all of their wares and titles. Luckily, Tendi rejoins the ship, the Cerritos, just in time to grab all the accumulated wealth of the post-scarcity planet that just got rid of money. I know that this is one of those like, oh, and everything was solved just like that with a nice little bow on top. But this was just genius fucking writing, with Freeman just handing it over, because we wanted to improve our relationships with the Orions, so the House of Tendi is back to normal. Thoughts on the climax of the Orion arc?
Trying the trophy was so weird, but at the same time, I get it. Not as Tendi character or like, but as a plot thing, because what's the alternative? They keep the trophy. What, she needs to kill the Blue Orions, which she doesn't want to do, or harm them, which she doesn't want to do. And then she comes back and they're still being scolded for using non-pirate ways because she used science to be able to pilot the thing. You know what? She's not going to get any,
No.
They're not going to get out of this thing, right? So I felt that at least destroying the trophy was a very clear, no, you fucked up. Rather than like, oh, you use science, it was bad. You know what I mean? It was like, no, that is bad. Everybody like get stripped of their money, and then that's very cool that they start working with Starfleet and the Federation, because I think that's what they've been inching towards, like that reunification, right? Not unification for 5-6, you know, with like getting Orion into the fold, at least like as a cooperation planet, like Ferengi, like somebody was talking about Ferengi now in the chat. And I think it's cool. I think it's well done. I think Tendi, you know, the more I think about it, because I'm talking about it right now, the more I think it's kind of fitting of Tendi, because when you see her arrive on the Cerritos, like on season 1, she's like, and she's like an ultimate badass. Like, she doesn't know any. Come on, girl. Like, she's good at not pretending that she doesn't know, but at going into that like ADHD mode of like, this is what I'm doing right now, and I'm doing it way too much. And I don't know. She's this is a cute character. She's very lovable, and even when she messes up, you're like, I'm here with you. I'm okay with this. So yeah. But De Erica not telling her sister that she's pregnant, again, there's a lot of assumption made on like other people that she wouldn't want to stay, that the secret would come out, that she would be forced, and things like that. Just tell.
We talked about this way back at Picard season 3 between Bev and Jean-Luc. Like, just tell people. Yep.
From a person that didn't know she was having a niece, just tell your sibling.
Yeah. MC.
As we're wrapping up talking about the Tendi storyline, I am going to talk about the entire storyline of this episode in the Orion portion. I don't care for it. We've talked before about Star Trek and its race episodes, because they did one back in.
You're right.
They did one in Prodigy, and they've done them in basically every single Star Trek series. And considering the whole war started because of Tendi not wanting to kill, the whole we're going to have a race through this, like, asteroids or whatever.
Field, yeah.
It seems so not Orion. It seemed weird. Like, it seems like if they're going to have some sort of competition, they should be like having to like pillage a ship. Like, they both have to pillage the same ship. So this whole race thing did not strike me correctly. And the way it all wrapped up, I don't like that it wrapped up this early. That's not to say that I don't want Tendi to be back on the Cerritos. I absolutely want Tendi to be back on the Cerritos. But I've been thinking about it since I first watched this episode on Screener. I think the way I would have liked to have had it done is have the war between the houses keep going over multiple episodes, but have De Erica, like, at the end of this episode, be like, I need more help. I need to reach out to Starfleet. And so Tendi or Devana, you're going to go back to Starfleet, and I'm going to get this help from them. But also, I'm going to have to call on you at some point during the season, possibly closer to the end of it. And I don't know, something wacky will have happened at that point. But I would have liked, instead of this very hard end to this storyline, which they built up so much, I would have preferred it to have gone on further.
I don't disagree with you one bit. I give it the, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I let it go because 10 episodes, it's always hard to extend these, especially in animation in 27 minutes to do that. And B, final season, we have no idea if the plan was to maybe do something like that and they had to maybe rework it a little bit. So I kind of give the benefit of the doubt there. As to it being a race episode, I have a theory. Would you like to hear it?
Is it bunnies?
No, it's not bunnies. I think that Terry Metalis and the Hageman brothers and Michelle Paradise and Mike McMahon all made a bet and said, who could do the better race episode? And the answer is D, none of them. They were all not, actually, I did like this episode, but they were all not like.
I mean, the race part of this episode.
Sorry? What did you say, Draft?
No, there's some of them I didn't dislike. It's just a problem. It's just yet again.
There's just
a
so
race,
many.
but
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love the Prodigy one at all.
I like the disco one.
The disco one was nice. Yeah. Which was the race one in Picard? I forget. Was there a race in
No,
Picard?
there's two in Discover. There's two in Prodigy.
Oh, yeah,
there's the one where they run by feet. There's the pod wars, the pod race.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
There's Disco. There's the running by
Yeah.
feet, and then this one is again a pod race. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, and you can even
Lower
go
Decks-
back into the 90s. There's a Voyager.
Oh yeah, the
and
Voyager
shit
race.
like that.
Yeah.
And it's the second one for Lower Decks, the one with Rutherfords. The two
Right.
Rutherfords.
Yeah.
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 That one was a lot better than this.
That's true.
That had stakes, emotional.
Yeah.
And that
Beats
makes
more than
sense that
this.
Rutherfords would want to race.
Yeah.
Hawk.
There were a lot of good points thrown out, and I'm not sure exactly what to say about it.
You
Like,
could use the pass button. That's okay.
I totally agree with you, MC, in that about choosing a race to resolve a dispute between criminal syndicates in Orion is kind of ridiculous, considering even their drinking games involve deadly bugs. So yeah, I can see why this is a little off-putting in that. It obviously it's a great callback in that, especially like to Deep Space Nine. But yeah, for some reason, even though like there was quite a bit of stakes to it, they didn't feel very consequential as stakes, right?
Well, somehow Tendi's still gonna like save the day and win, right? It's not like, yeah.
But mainly the point was just to get her home, and again, keep up with that Lower Decks tradition of like making each cliffhanger pretty much like
Yeah.
happened in a dream.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't mind the Orion arc, with these two episodes. There was a lot to mine out of for humor and for Tendi and that, but really it was to nail the point home that she was not fit for the pirate life, and that it's like it's a kill or be killed world.
I don't know. I still
And-
think she's pretty fit for it.
She's
Yeah.
fit for it. She's very, but at the same time, that whole killer instinct and that it's not her. And then ultimately, she would have led a very unhappy life.
I don't want to
And her
disagree
sister
with
knew
you for
that.
the sake of disagreeing with you, but I also think that Tendi does have a killer instinct. Like, I think if she wanted to kill the fuck out of someone, she would kill the fuck out of someone, right?
But
like,
she doesn't. She doesn't even want anybody to get injured in that. It's like we were talking about, like how we all thought it was her that threw the dagger in that. But like, she doesn't even want to go that far.
I'm just thinking about the cleaner and when she knocked the shit out of the
she's
Romulans.
cleaner. She can knock him unconscious and that. She can defend herself. There's no doubt that she is a total badass. But she doesn't want to kill people.
Fair, yeah.
Cleaning the sword is too much work.
It is. Who wants bloodstains? Yeah.
Like this one, a pirate life sounds so nice. For my friend who like offline means death. I don't know. Surely somebody's in there.
In the chat, Jim writes, having the blue Orions work for House Tendi at the end. Oh my god, lol. Yeah, I love that bit. Jesse wrote, it's almost like the Orion Queen supports Tendi's views, maybe a little bit. Maybe getting old and maybe thinking about changing things. Maybe for a future episode. We are past the Tendi Orion story arc. Before we get on to the Cerritos, who wants to read our Lower Decks Season 4 Blu-ray winner? Don't all jump at once.
I could do it.
Hit it,
Yeah.
MC.
So speaking of booty, our winner of the Lower Decks Season 4 Blu-ray from our watch-alongs is Discord member Jesse.
Who I believe is in the chat, Jesse Robbins. Congrats! You win Lower Decks Season 4 on Blu-ray. Excuse me. We'll ship that out to you soon, along with some stickers. Those are coming soon. They just shipped. On to the Cerritos. Mo Cerritos, mo problems. On the ship, a subspace rift is open, and it's the Cerritos' job to close it because they get those kind of jobs. They get stuck in, though, pulled through, and encounter an alternate Cerritos that really isn't that much different at all from their own. The biggest change being, I didn't put it in the outline, but I will say that Billups is king. Yeah. And it's Captain Becky Freeman, which still sounds weird as hell to say. This is obviously all over I think both trailers that we got. But I just want to ask you guys, is there an alternate crew member that you like the best, Giraffe?
Oh, Boimler.
Bearded Boims.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's the only one who's not totally psycho.
Yeah.
I mean, he sounds like he could hang, you know? The rest, I don't know. They sound a little bit too intense, all of them.
Yeah.
Especially Rutherford.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to see Alton and Tendi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. What about you, MC?
I'm gonna have to say Boimler too. I do have to. I'll bring this up now because I don't think that there's going to be a better place for it. I do have to wonder where the point of divergence is, because when the two mariners and Mariner and Freeman are talking, the first episode is happened to both of them. Because they're talking about, my bones, my bones. And you can actually kind of pick out like little things like, okay, so we have King Billups. So he, actually got his V card punched in that episode, and a bunch of other things. But I'm kind of trying to figure things out with definitely with Captain Freeman.
I have a theory about that too that does not involve bunnies either.
I was kind of. You have
what
one?
What do you think? Let's see.
Okay.
Well,
wait, the MC first. That's
MC first.
I was thinking it might have something to do with the whole Pakled planet.
That's what I was gonna say. Yep.
Cover up that instead of going on trial, she was sent to Starbase 80, and I think because she's so much of an asshole, I think that Mariner / Freeman basically turned turncoat on her mom.
Ooh, that's
was the one responsible for it.
Okay.
I think it has to do with the interviews. So when Mariner in our universe, so because I'm supposed it's ours, tries to defend our mom and the crew and so on, they think that she's the one who did the bad job, right? And she's sent to Starbase 80. And I think that Mariner didn't do that. Like, the way this interview went down went differently. And it's Captain Freeman that was demoted because of the interview and sent away. And
I like that.
And then Mariner took it. I mean, Becky with the good hair, decided to try to fix all the things that were said in the interview and like stop the slack and so on. So I think when I saw the episode, I was like, that's the point of convergence. That's there, which is explain why then, they were not there for Billups and all this, because I think it's all after the interview, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, no, I kind of combination of both. Yeah, I like it. Huck.
Same. More so that Beckett may have kind of had a part in turning her mom, either ratting her mom out to Federation or taking over the ship and that. Yeah, there just seems to be like a bit of a turncoat aspect to it. And I think that's what landed Freeman in Starbase 80.
Who is your favorite alternate?
My favorite alternate, it's got to be Boimler, right? Because
Boims is popular tonight.
Apart from Rutherford and from Becky, everybody else was pretty much an exact copy of each other. They just looked slightly different, but personality wise, they were still the same people.
I know that they're the same, but my favorite was Ponytail Shax. And he's like, I got swole, fighting fascism against Cardassians. So did I. It was, I don't know. I love double Shax.
You just like doing your Shax impersonation.
Anytime I get to do it, it makes me happy.
I am wondering with Boimler, why the hell is he still only a lieutenant junior grade if he's so trusted?
Because that Mariner's
because he's
evil.
story with Mariner, yeah.
I guess so.
Story.
Yeah. So let's talk about this some more, right? Mariner hangs out with her alternate captain counterpart. She starts to notice she's not all that meets the eye. A little bit of Transformers nod in there. She throws her crew in the brig for minor squabbles, right? Apparently, that Cerritos is almost all brigs. And as she finds out later, even hits them with the Captain Styles horsewhip from Star Trek 3. Um, yeah, thoughts on Captain Becky Freeman being an asshole?
Listen, I feel like when they were like, her name is Becky, I was like, oh, this is not gonna be good. um, I think it talks to the relationship between Captain Freeman and Mariner. And that I found super interesting. What happens to Mariner if she has not that constant squabble and that constant like get in check and that constant like, even if everything that happened in season 3 was super messed up, I think that it really informs the character of Mariner in season 4 and 5, and where she is and how she feels. And we were talking when we were doing the season 4 review that it was all about her feeling safe enough to open to the crew and tell her trauma and everything that happens and why she doesn't trust people and what she doesn't trust Starfleet on certain thing. And I think that without this, she becomes Becky with the good hair. That's the
Yeah.
she becomes that person that turns to force to control people. And I like when Mariner says, that's not my style. That's not how I roll. That is not my style. And that's sad. Like, that was sad to see Mariner be that version, and how she could very easy, because it's what, 1.3, what is it?
It's in the chat. It's 0.327 variance.
Well, yeah, it's nothing. She's like, oh, she's on the verge, like she's like one decision away from being that terrible person. And 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 that talks to Carol Freeman more than anything, in my opinion. And I really like that. I really liked that she gets to meet the person she would be without her mother as her captain. But yeah, it's I don't like Beckett.
No.
Don't hit people. This is
no,
weird.
don't hit people. I don't hit my friends or my crewmates. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
MC.
I like that we finally have an answer to what is the deal with Mariner's name.
Yeah.
Because I think we've been asking that since like season 1. And as for Becky Freeman, I think Giraffe completely hit the nail on the head. It all has to do with Carol not being there. And, you know, I don't think that Beckett really showed any particular enticement for her life. I think actually the whole reason why Becky wants to take over Beckett's life is because Freeman is still in it. Because, I mean, what's the first thing she does when she's found out? She gets on her knees and starts begging her mom to let her stay.
Mother.
Mother.
Yeah, so she's an asshole, but I can understand her being an asshole a little bit, because she misses her mom and doesn't know how to function without her properly.
Yeah. Hawk.
So I think this is, well, not the mirror universe in that it's, in a way it is, because as much as Mariner put in like that kind of effort into like sabotaging her career through all those years, out of her pain and everything that we discovered about her, this version of Mariner probably coped with some similar tragedy involving her mom by doing the opposite with her career. Instead of like trying to trash her career, and that she goes so hard at it, and that she to be the perfect officer, and that she resorts to these criminal abuses, caging them for minor infractions, the riding crop, the whole thing. I think we're seeing like the kind of the flip-flop, a Mariner who's so invested in this career, and that she is an insufferable asshole. Like, as much as she hated herself for like when she was trashing her career on that, it's the exact same thing for Becky with the good hair.
This is a
I hope everybody has the reference for Becky with the good hair because don't DM me.
this is a Beckett Mariner who also, if we're going by the two theories about where the divergence is, that also didn't get to deal with her feelings about Cito and became the exact kind of officer that Cito probably would hate, like the anti-Cito, right? Cito loved Starfleet a little bit too much that she sacrificed her life for it, right? Beckett became a hard-ass Jellicoe-esque captain because of all that trauma and not being able to deal with it. But kind of like what you said, Hawk, instead of being like, I'm gonna dance in your blood, and no, she's
self-destructive. Yeah.
She's just gonna follow the rules to the letter and become like the worst of the worst kind of hard ass,
and alienate everybody around her.
Yeah, like even even Boims, like, as you could tell, who's not gotten a promotion. So yeah. I don't know if we really need to talk about the next part because we kind of already talked. We know what happens. She does the switcheroo, and Boims is like, no one should ever be switched without their consent, which I really appreciated. Gotta love Boims. Does anybody want to talk about that? We kind of already did, unless everybody good on that?
I think
point?
we're good.
We're good.
Yeah. Let's talk about Boims some more then. Us Bradwards were meant to be captains, as some people are referring to him as Riker Boimler because of the beard.
He also does the Riker maneuver at one point.
He does. Yep. I do love that moment, though, going back real quick to the switcheroo, because Dave just said it in the chat. She's like, don't you give me that Vulcan salute. As she walks out, she's like, oh, that's how that feels. That was a great moment. So after Boim's 30 under 30 portion is pulled from Fleet Mag, by the way, I'd like to know where my subscription for Fleet Mag goes. I want one. He starts to doubt himself again. That self-doubt that maybe was starting to go away starts to come back, and then meets, like, full of charisma, but maybe again that's some false charisma coming from Riker Boims. From his counterpart. So he wants to try and get some of that mojo. So Boims steals his alternate's pad, which is just, like, I personally think the worst thing he could have done. And in the next episode, starts to use some of his alternate successes, right? Like the Bointers. But the ensigns under his command, they're just not feeling it. What do we think about Boims kind of reverting, going back down this path of self-doubt? Draft.
You?
Sorry?
Wouldn't you revert to self-doubt if you met, like,
someone with that much charisma? Yeah.
Well, and that is, like, basically you. Like, it's not like mirrorverse you, it's like 3 point something %. Like, it's nothing. But also, on the other hand, we have 98% genetic material, the same than chimpanzees, and we're like pretty different. So I don't know. But I know that if I met, like, a me that is way more successful in my scale of, like, on the scale I put myself on for, like, what I consider success, and everybody's saying that, oh, it's almost the same, we're like so close, I'd be like, what the f have I been doing? Where did I mess up that guy is there and I'm not, in a place that's messier and looks more complicated? So yeah, I don't know. I get Boimler, don't you?
No, so I want to follow up that with another question, though, because I don't think those two Boimlers are that far off. I mean, do you think he really is? Because Carol trusted him enough to take the ship in the last season. I know that was a very big deal for him, but he's starting to get there.
That's funny. It's a conversation I had actually yesterday with somebody about myself. And there is a big difference between people around you knowing you can do things and feeling that you're comfortable doing those things. and that you're in the right place. Like, everybody say like imposter syndrome. It's like I don't like the imposter syndrome thing because it's easy. It's an easy way, in my opinion, it's an easy way to explain why people don't want to do things. Oh, it's an imposter syndrome. You don't know that. Like, you don't know what's going on in people's mind. Like maybe they're depressed, maybe there's all something else, right? But I feel that it's important to accept that maybe people think you can do things, and it's okay that you don't feel like you can do the thing, because it's 90% of doing the thing that you feel comfortable and you have like trust in yourself. People can trust you all they want. If you don't trust yourself to do the thing, it's not gonna happen, and you're gonna be miserable, and you're gonna doubt yourself, and you're gonna mess up. And I think Boimler is not there yet. He can do the thing, and people trust him to do the things, but he needs to meet alternate Boimler,
Riker Boims.
yeah, Riker Boims, to actually be okay. That guy is not as far as I am, and he actually is doing the thing. So that means that if I follow some of the step, I'm gonna feel like I can do the thing. Which is important.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I don't think that anything that he did in either like the first episode or the second episode, is harmful in any way. Like it's not hurting anybody, right?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it? No, it's not hurting anybody. It just again, weren't we talking about having a mentor?
Yeah.
And like being a mentor that you trust and you like respect, and a mentor that wants to mentor you. And I think your alternate safe is like perfect, because technically that's you.
Right.
So if they can do it and feel confident doing it, because that's what Boimler is missing, then he's giving himself the authorization to feel more confident in a place of more like leadership.
Yeah.
And I think I get it. I think Boimler is like the character in that whole thing that for me makes the most sense.
Fair. Yeah. Kang writes, please tell me someone will publish an official Boimler Bointers list. Yes, I would like one, please. MC.
So I've been thinking about, the point of divergence for Boimler, and I think I figured it out. Boimler was never cloned, and so got to keep his lieutenant junior grade. He just asked to be transferred back to the Cerritos. So this is, a Boimler who has been a lieutenant junior grade for quite a while at this point, and never had that being taken down a peg by being demoted. Just an idea. The whole taking of the pad thing. Mike McMahon at New York Comic Con has equated this to Marty McFly taking the sports almanac, which I think is going to be interesting. I can understand Boimler doing this, because this is such a Boimler thing to do, because he's always wondering about the path not taken. This was like the whole thing in Crisis Point 2, like when he was like having the existential crisis about William Boimler. He's always wondering about whether or not he's making the right decision. And out of all of the characters who would have this sort of crisis, it would absolutely be Boimler. It would be Boimler, then Mariner, and then everybody else is just kind of the same until you get right down to the bottom of the list with T'Lyn, who is just like completely unbothered at all.
Yeah. That's a great point. For the divergence or the divergence, right?
Divergence.
Geek Filter wrote, our guess was that he is the clone Brad. The other Boimler went to the Titan.
I thought about that too.
Yeah. Yep. Hawk.
Or just he doesn't have to take care of Mariner.
He doesn't.
So
yeah,
that gives him more free time to actually study and do things.
These are all great. I particularly like the one about him actually serving under Riker, because I feel like if Boimler had a chance to serve under Riker, he probably would have wound up like, more like Boims from this universe. But I mean, it is really a big divergence, right? Even like, did you notice the way they styled his hair in that? It's not like, static and just like, on edge in that. It's smooth and relaxed in that. And I feel like Boymes didn't really, he's always looking for role models in that. And here, for his career. And here's one of him, like on the path that he'd like to be as far as his career. He's centered, he's relaxed, he's good with everything in that, and like people trust him because of the way he's very relaxed and composed. That's why he's given more responsibility. It's just a shame that he steals the pad because it seems like he wasn't really paying very much attention to his actual, counterpart's advice. Instead, he was just kind of looking for, pointers.
Yeah, the quick way to success.
The quick way to success. He misses the message.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I feel too. Like I think like that Bradford was trying to say, like, dude, you're gonna get there. You're gonna be fine. You're already on that right path. I feel like it's cheating a little bit. And I get your ass points. Like, wouldn't you? I'm like, yeah, like if I met my counterpoint and he had a cheat book, yeah, I'd probably fucking take it. But at the same time,
1000%, come on.
But at the same time, it's Boimes, and I feel like, oh, you're right there, man. You don't need it. You don't need it. You're not gonna grow that beard, by the way. Look at that. Those whiskers.
But he doesn't know that.
No, I know.
And this is so typical of Boimler in that he loves role models, for if it's Pike, if it's Udach and Riley, it's he loves having a role model to like look to.
Yeah.
For guidance.
Yeah. So still on the capitalist or the no longer capitalist planet where they're burning money and
no money, no problems.
Nope. His ensigns go missing after giving them some off time. He's trying to be like, cool Boimler. They're kidnapped by folks who are not thrilled to now be living in a post-scarcity world. Boimes initially freaks, but Mariner helps calm him down and begins to show more of that Boimes courage. That is until they two get found out, get kidnapped and find the ensigns dead. Turns out the ensigns used a pointer. They used a pointer about flora and fauna, which I thought was a great point. Like, so at the one hand, yeah, like it is working, right? Like this saved these two ensigns' lives, maybe. But at the same time, do you think that he can keep this up? Like weird mustache and all? Like at some point, he's got to do it for his own. Giraffe.
I feel every man who can't grow a mustache goes through a weird mustache phase and try anyway. And I'm like, who am I to judge? Like, you do you. Listen, I cut my bangs too many times to not to be judging any man trying to grow a mustache when they can't. So I'm here for it. Like, whatever.
I love how much you're supporting Boimes right now.
I'm very supportive of Boimler. Like, he's every single one of us. We're all thinking we're Mariner. We're not. We're all Boimlers.
No, we're totally
Let's be
all Boimlers.
honest,
Yeah.
okay? And that's fine. I feel it's the future though. Don't they have some technology? They have technology to change your DNA and like make you something like some other race, but you can't have a beard and grow a mustache. Like, come on. The Boimter and that cracked me up because I'm pretty sure that's just Starfleet manual.
Yeah,
that you repackaged. Basically,
the only thing that it ever reminded me of were Leffler's laws from TNG.
Oh yeah.
And I feel it's just something that he just like put his name on it and make it his rules of acquisition or something like that.
Pointers.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like I think that the part of what makes this interesting is that I think that Boimler cheated a little bit and did steal those from Robin Leffler. Like totally stole them. Yeah.
Maybe that he was like an ensign under that guy. I don't know. But like it's good. It's how you teach like younger people. You repackage things in like easy bits. It cracked me up that it's the most insane Boimter that actually end up saving them. Like the one about flora and fauna. Like really. But I feel it was interesting. I think we went full circle because in season 1 we had cool Boimler, then we had boiled Boimler, and now we're back to cool Boimler. And I'm like, he was here all along.
Yeah.
Where is the weird jacket and the weird sunglasses? We want to find cool Boimler again. The poor Scarcity kidnapping, which is very funny, and I feel that plot really flowed. That word flowed very well. It all went from one action to another action in a way that was funny and made sense. I don't know. I was here for that plot. I want them to sell the T-shirts.
Yes, I would like the T-shirt too.
I would
Yes.
really like the T-shirts. Yeah.
Great. MC.
Just on the plot in general, yeah, I do think that this plot is really good. I preferred this plot to the Orion plot that was in this episode. As for Boimler, yeah, anyone who wants to grow a mustache, even if it's really pathetic, can. I think Mariner might break into his quarters and shave it off, though. As for the Bointers, yeah, they are a lot like Leffler's laws, and I there's got to be some sort of twist at some point that either, yeah, they weren't actually written by Boimler, or maybe Boimler ends up finding Boimler, alt Boimler's actual personal log, and it's basically just as pathetic as the one we heard in Grounded, where it's just like he's talking about how he can't fart.
Yeah.
Because he's still Boimler. And Boimler has to realize that Boimler is okay. Like the other Boimler said, he'll get there eventually. Like Boimlers are meant to be captains. He's just got to have confidence in himself, because by just parroting this stuff that the alternate Boimler has written down, it's not sustainable, because they're not actual lessons from him. They might be lessons that a Boimler came up with, but it's not properly, it's not in his heart. So that sounds really dumb, but
No, it's true though. Yeah. Hawk.
Yeah, that's a lot to say on this. I know it's him falling into his usual routines, but I also noted that both he and Mariner actually expressed the most growth their characters have seen probably this since season 4, when they're being led down to the cellar and that as prisoners, and that Mariner admits that she's actually making a real effort and that to take her duties as an officer seriously, and that she's like thinking that's what got them into the situation. And what does Boimler say? He's like, you can do everything right and still be taken prisoner by the corporate elite.
Yep.
And I thought that's like, okay, they really are making breakthroughs in that. They're not just reverting to their old characters and that. Like the Bointers obviously were very silly in that, and probably some of it's, taken from the Starfleet manuals and that, but the results speak for themselves in that. Their ensigns actually were the ones who facilitated the escape in that through one of his pointers, had to do with a coma beetle, I guess, but he's learning. There's a balance, we may see more Pointers in the future. I don't know, but I think he's learning.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move on to Rutherford, who is struggling at the beginning of the season without Tendi, literally working endlessly so he doesn't have to think about her not being on the ship, which is like, dude, this is a bit of a problem. He then meets his counterpart, who has basically turned himself into an android to wash away the pain of losing Tendi, because she left in the alternate universe too. What do we think about both Rutherfords going to these extremes about not having Tendi here? Because I'm seeing, and we're going to read in Mailbags in a few minutes, like Rutherford is straight up in love with Tendi. Like, is it love? Is it just missing your best friend? Is it obsession? Like, oh boy, what is going on here, Giraffe?
Somebody's
You're muted.
text. Oh, I'm muted?
No,
you're fine now.
Yeah.
You're haunted as fuck tonight.
I was not muted. I didn't see anything. Sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Yes.
Sorry.
Rutherford going to extremes, not having Tendi around. Is
Yeah, that
Rutherford
was
in love with
fucked
Tendi?
up.
Is it love? Is it missing your best friend? Is it obsession? Like, what the fuck is going on?
I think Rutherford didn't have time to have to learn how to have healthy relationship with people because of everything that happened in season 3 2, I don't remember way back when. He's not the person he was. They tinkered with his mind. You remember when he was going through all these like different personalities and so on? That was there's a lot like going on with Rutherford. And I think that Rutherford needs a slow arc. He needs to chill, and he needs to learn how to be just okay with people. I think he's super intense to Tendi because Tendi was really important into him for his healing journey when he didn't remember anything, and she was very very present for that, which was kind of wrong. When somebody goes through things like but I think that seeing his counterpart, that guy is messed up. And I think this guy also is a victim of Mariner not being here, because the choices he made are like, his friend should have been like, you shouldn't do that. This is messed
Why
up.
are you ripping out your innards? Yeah. Like, yeah.
Like, Mariner would have been like, don't do that, man. That's weird. Like,
Yeah.
don't do that. Like, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be here. Or like, spend time with him, because he doesn't fix the shuttle only with Tendi. Like, Mariner pretends to be here too. She just sits here.
There's a
But
great moment. Sorry, Giraffe. There's a great moment in our interview. This will be a little bit of tease at the end of the episode with Mike McMahon. That's going to be coming out next week, where we talk about that shuttle and the grapplers and their love for that damn thing.
I think Rutherford needs to not be only with Tendi. He needs to understand that that's not healthy. You cannot have your whole world attached to only one person. That people change, people, I don't know, people die, people disappear, people go away, people make decisions. I don't know. You cannot be dependent of one person. And I think at the end of the episode, he says that he went to see friends, right? And I think that's so good for Rutherford to have like these like understanding that he needs to slowly unhinge himself of existing only by Tendi, because that other guy was not okay. Like, how does Starfleet let that happen also? Like, right? Isn't
Well,
that
yeah,
weird?
it's augments too. Like, you're augmenting yourself. It's illegal. Yeah, unless it's not. Well, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
it's because I mean,
It's
like,
genetic alterations that they really have a
okay,
problem
yeah,
with. Not so
cybernetics,
much the
cybernetics.
cybernetics.
All right,
No.
all right.
no,
It
because
makes me think of like the cybernetic guys in, was it the book of Boba Fett?
Yeah.
oh yeah,
I feel it's still like ethically very wrong to have somebody just wipe out their memories, because in Discovery we see Ariam,
Yep. Jim was saying
saving
that in
her
chat.
memories and so
Mhm.
on. Oh, hey. But I feel there's no check in people's well-being on that ship. And Rutherford, also the other Rutherford just tinkering with the alternate Rutherford mind is kind of messed up also.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
Really is.
He's just in a bad place. Like, he's in like a really bad place.
yeah, and that's kind of weird that I think the others are just like, let him get that out of his system. He's gonna unfunk himself at one point or another, but seeing how the other Rutherford actually never unfunked himself out of Tendi and just became non-human, I think kind of rings everybody's bell that they need to take care of Rutherford and they need to do something. And I think that's where the only one that actually gets that is T'Lyn.
Yeah.
She, the only one that understands that somebody needs to do something.
Yeah.
That's what she says, that she tricked him into like trying to, socialize, because I think she got the message when Mariner was too busy, Boimler was too busy also. I think the only one who's like kind of observing is Talin, which is
She's
on
always
point.
observing. Yeah. Always got a pad in her hand. Yeah. Yeah. MC?
Is Rutherford in love with Tendi? I would say yes, but there's a big long MC thing that has to go along with this. Rutherford's love for Tendi is completely unhealthy. Part of this might be because I don't think Tendi is interested in having a relationship with him. But Rutherford has also put her on such a pedestal since I think like episode 3 of season 1. And we saw last season that even the potential of, pretending that they're in a relationship like freaks them the hell out. So I don't know if Rutherford can really deal with the reality of Tendi. I don't see Rutherford being able to deal with the mistress of the winter constellations.
Yeah, that's
At
a
all.
great point.
I think that while he is in love with Tendi, I think he is in love with an idea of Tendi, this, very ebullient, always optimistic girl who is certainly Tendi, but he is more of admiring somebody who doesn't really exist rather than the real Tendi. That's not to say that I have a problem with Rutherford. There's a lot of people who just do stuff like that, and I don't see their relationship going anywhere. But that's just me. I've been wrong on that a lot of times before. Just look at all of the stuff I said about Spock and Nurse Chapel before Strange New Worlds came out.
But I agree with you this time. The more this goes on, and especially after seeing these first 2 episodes, I think you're right though. I don't think that Tendi is going to reciprocate. I think that it's not a good thing for Ruthie.
Mm-hmm. And I do think that Rutherford altering Otherford's, by the way, I love that, programming is messed up until I actually think about what happened. Yes, Boimler said that Rutherford is the one who deleted Tendi from his memory. But in that universe, Becky Freeman absolutely would have wiped Rutherford's memory to make him act efficiently again.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Damn. Hawk.
Yes, Rutherford is in love with Tendi. Her absence obviously is affecting him greatly. I don't think he would have been very good at actually kind of confronting his feelings about it. But yeah, the fact that she is away and he is in love with her, it borders on obsession, but he copes. And I think him going around working, trying to fix things, and that is his way of not letting it turn into obsession.
Yeah.
Right. He just buries himself in so much work and trying to fix other problems, and that simple problems, mechanical problems, which always have a solution, but the problem that he's afraid to face doesn't have one. He's in love with this person. I don't think they're going to reciprocate. And again with the wrong universe, as I remember they like calling it that, your wrong universe. He sees what what the potential of what the danger of what that could mean for him, and that if trying to fix a problem that he like that meant basically destroying himself. And like all the guardrails that his friends put up for him and that were gone for him. So
yeah. Obviously we won't see this happen in the show, and but in a perfect world where Starfleet cares or gives a shit about mental health, what Rutherford desperately needs more than anything after witnessing this is a transfer. He needs to not be on this ship anymore. It is not a good place for him. And I have to be careful here because some of us have watched more episodes. I don't think that this is a spoiler. I haven't seen anything yet that like is contrary to what I'm saying, but like I could see that happening in like future episodes where like Tendi being back is just not good for him. Like this is like detrimental to furthering his career. Like dude needs to not be on the Cerritos anymore. He's talented, he's smart, and he's just not like, yeah, I think this is a really bad problem for him, and it sucks to
Send
see.
him to
It's
Mars
like,
to work with Geordi.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, but then he might die. Like a lot of fucking people die.
Yeah, there's still a couple of years before that.
Yeah.
And also, if we're going to have anybody talk to Rutherford about bad relationships and, you know, being obsessed with women in unhealthy ways, it's Geordi LaForge.
Good point. Fair. In the next episode, we were talking about T'Lyn. T'Lyn tries to cheer him up, right? She's the one noticing that he's not well by working on the never finished Sequoia shuttle. But Rutherford doesn't do a great job explaining the significance of like never completing it. Not just for him and Tendi, because that has been, as we talked about, like a group project for all of them. But yeah, she completely repairs the shuttle overnight because like just Vulcan brain. Much to Rutherford's dismay. But Tendi does return, and he's so damn excited. But then the shuttle, the shuttle is fixed. But dude, T'Lyn, like talking about how amazing T'Lyn is, she gets it. She totally gets it. She does get the memo, and she destroys the whole damn shuttle. Oh, whatever will we do? Drop. It's such a great moment. Let's talk about this moment and Tendi's return. Giraffe.
I don't think that I think that Rutherford seeing the other Rutherford and having that moment with Tendi is moving along to, you know, being more with other people than Tendi. So I don't know that the return of Tendi will have such a negative impact on him. I don't know. I think that T'Lyn being here and also understanding what is going on, maybe seeing what is going on maybe better than the others, will help him. She knows what it is to, you know, not have her people and so on. So I think she cares. She cares for Rutherford. The whole thing about like destroying the shuttle cracked me up.
It was so good.
But also, you know, it's Rutherford is very is very the Big Gatsby. He's a trying to go back to a past that does not exist anymore. Like, my man, you need to move on. Life is moving on, you know, we are but boats carrying on the current. Like, you cannot go back. Even if it was great in the past, everybody has moved on. Everybody has grown. Mariner has grown. Tendi has grown, most definitely. Boimler, I don't know what Boimler is doing. Boimler is doing his thing. But Rutherford is trying to go back to that first season where they were all building the thing. And it's not going to be possible, my man. The shuttle is a great example. It's not a boat, but it could be. And T'Lyn destroying the shuttle, I think, is really funny. And maybe it's going to be... But she destroys it so bad.
Dude,
are they going to be able to fix that back? Like, are they going to just move on? Because that's what they should do.
I almost wonder if it's a metaphor for them moving on, because like it's not just a great example of what you were just talking about, but it's a great example of what they went through in Caves, right?
Yeah.
They had moved on. They're doing things with other people. They're not hanging out with each other. They don't have the time. There is actually a big difference between being an ensign and a lieutenant junior grade. Like, so yeah, no, that's a really good point. So
yeah, I think it's great that T'Lyn is in the mix now. She's gonna weirdly shake things up.
Yeah, MC.
Yeah, I think I would have just left the shuttle together and then gone to do another project, because the whole building of the Sequoia is so much like the building of the little mini Cerritos, that they would take it apart and put it back together, and then eventually, once it's all put together, I think they buy like Deep Space Nine. I think that's how it goes. they buy them, they get another model. And so there's tons of other projects that they could do on the ship if they want to hang out together. It doesn't have to be the ship or the shuttle. Granted, it does have like this emotional attachment to them, but that's unhealthy. And like you were saying, it does kind of speak to this, arrested development of, wanting everything to stay static, but things do change and you can't be afraid of that. I would like to gush a little bit about T'Lyn, because T'Lyn is so good in these 2 episodes. She has grown so much. She doesn't have a lot to do, but the moments that she does have really show how she has integrated herself with this group. Like the first scene we see her in the first episode is when Mariner is freaking out over the idea of working with ensigns and actually like leading them. And T'Lyn is like, I believe you will end up telling it like it is. And so actually trying to help out Mariner. And then at the end of that episode, she tries to make a joke.
She doesn't try. She does it successfully.
She does make a joke, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people think that actually was a bit of like a switch, like a double switcheroo, that even though it was a joke, she actually is the alternate T'Lyn.
I don't think so. No, I think actually that moment was very much a callback to the original Star Trek that would always end with kind of, like one of those
like
jokes. And it would often be,
it
would often be Spock that would actually like have like the kind of zinger. So it was kind of T'Lyn. And then in this episode, you have T'Lyn being the only one with the emotional ability to understand that Rutherford still needs a lot of help. And, while he has stopped with the crazy eyes, obviously that sleeping thing, he's still struggling. And I think T'Lyn is also missing Tendi in a much more healthy way. And so T'Lyn and Rutherford kind of work really well together to not be lonely anymore. And it's very sweet of T'Lyn. And I think for somebody who's not supposed to be emotional, I think there's a lot of emotional maturity in T'Lyn.
So many people saying that in the chat right now. Kang, T'Lyn has an amazing amount of emotional intelligence. Colin, she has a high degree of emotional intelligence. I like her a lot. Yeah, definitely a lot of people agreeing with you there. Hawk.
I don't think I really have anything more to add to it. I think everybody's
fascinating.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure somebody got switched though.
Yeah. So that was. I
want to say I did not watch the episode, so I don't know. But I think Boimler is gonna like find something in the pad. I think somebody got switched.
Some people think it might also be Billups, like King Billups got switched. Yeah, I think there's definitely a switch.
Oh, so we've got a non-virgin Billups on the ship now?
What if it's actually Freeman and it's way back when she's been switched from some time? What about somebody has been switched for some time?
Yeah.
But because they keep saying that there's so many like things opening, like ruptured, like openings that it keep happening, and I'm like,
I got a question. Why didn't we see anything from Dr. Tahana in the... I mean, we saw the Tahana's there, but we didn't get any indication as to what the Tahana's like.
Dude, those Tahanas were exact duplicates. A lot of them were exact duplicates.
That's true.
Yeah. Final thoughts on this episode. We'll go in reverse on these 2 episodes, I should say. Hawk.
Despite any problems in that, there were still 2 very fun episodes. They're both very rewarding watches, especially multiple times. I'm pretty sure that they're hinting about the overarching story for the season has to do with rifts and everything waiting on the other side. So I'm very excited to see what happens with that. I'm just glad Lower Decks is back. It's still probably the best writing we've gotten in Star Trek.
Yeah, logic.
In the last couple of years, and it's still my favorite show. of the franchise.
Yeah. MC.
Yeah, so I think that I mean, as I said about the Orion plot, I wish that it had been dragged out a little bit longer. Dragged out is the wrong term, but I wish that it hadn't been so abruptly cut off in episode 2. And I really liked the post-scarcity world, and I like Boimler's stupid ratty mustache. But the Cerritos, the double Cerritos plot, I didn't care for it very much. I mean, I do think that it's going to be the ongoing plot of the season. But the way that they handled it, it reminded me of the Futurama episode where they went to the alternate universe, down to arguing about what to call the two universes. And at least in the Futurama episode, one of the groups decided to call themselves the Fighting Mongooses. So
there you go.
So yeah, it felt flat. I like the idea of multiverses, if just because it, will give me the opportunity to hope that they'll visit the Kelvin first.
Knew that was coming.
I actually told that to MC, but not to the rest of the crew. But Mike McMahon yesterday said he was asked, in animation you don't need to DH people, so what about getting Shatner and have Kirk? And he was like, it doesn't make sense for Lower Deckers to meet Kirk. Like, they made Sulu in a dream, inside a movie, inside a dream, inside a movie, inside a holodeck, which why not? But it was like, I actually tried to have a Kirk on the show, and it was Chris Pine, and I couldn't because they were talking to him about the movies, so he couldn't have him. So I was like, oh my god. So Kelvinverse was just here.
Close.
So close.
They're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me eventually.
Yep. Draft, final thoughts.
I'm kind of upset that I didn't have. I kept wanting to see the plot. Like, what's the plot? What's the big twist? Like, because as soon as we get it, we know he's gonna kick in. So I was like, where is it? What's its plot? What's the plot? Now the Tendi is back. I don't know. Like, and I'm pretty sure that once the plot is gonna be revealed, we're gonna see that there's so many things in 2 episodes that were hinting at this. But I'm right now too dumb to see it. Which makes me very excited for the next episode. I loved messed up Becky. I thought the Orions looked super cool. They look badass. It was good fun. It was good TV. They have to live up to their season 4, and I know that's difficult. But they can do no wrong.
That's true. That is very true. I really enjoyed these 2 episodes a lot. I'm happy the show is back. I am so happy that we got to spend a lot of time on Orion and like really see inside their culture. Like, that's fucking cool. Seeing like the first day of a post-scarcity world was hilarious. When he's like, I need to commandeer your bike in the name of Starfleet. That's okay. I'll replicate a new one. It's so good. I really enjoyed these 2 episodes. Maybe an unpopular opinion. I don't know if I need an overarching arc. Like, if they just if they just do 10 really good episodes and it's just like 10 totally episodic episodes to end the series, I think I'd be okay.
We know it's not going to be the case.
I know.
They've been hinting about stuff.
I know. But
and it's the last season. They need to go somewhere.
I know. But I'd be fine if that was the case. Anyway, I'm happy. I'm happy the show is back. I'm happy everybody's excited that the show is back. I will say that means y'all in the chat, y'all listening at home, y'all listening audio, video, I don't give a shit. Wherever you are, if you're watching, put it on when you go to bed. Put it on like at work and put it on mute. Watch it, get the numbers. So maybe we get another season, or if we don't get another season, we get a television movie or a movie theater movie. Just watch the damn show. That's it. Let's go. Subspace to Pull and the mailbag. Where are you, my soundbite? There you are.
Warp me.
Boom. Who wants to take the poll?
Hey, I can read.
Hit it, Hawk.
We asked Trek Threads what they thought about DOS Cerritos and Shades of Green, and this is what they had to say. 50% said, "Yar, pirate-tastic." 50% said, "All the booty." 0% said, "Hands off our booty." And 0% said, "No money, mo problems."
To be fair, I will admit that we did not get a lot of votes on this one, so this is a little skewed. But if you want to vote in the poll, we're not on X. We are now exclusively on Threads. So go vote in the poll on Threads. The link's on our Discord every week. Go do that. You took the to poll, which means it would be me. I will take Techno Dave's mailbag, who wrote, "This season is off to a great start. The opening credits are just insane with the new additions from previous seasons. All hail the giant green space hand. But the highlight has to be when Mariner is on the receiving end of the sarcastic Vulcan salute, verbatim from Captain Becky." Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, that's how that feels. Awesome. Can you take this Rob, please, Draft?
This Rob wrote, "Fantastic start of the season. The Orion versus Orion callback was exactly the kind of delight I've come to expect from this show. Can't believe there are only 8 episodes left with this crew. I don't want the journey to end."
Same. MC, can you take Collins, please?
Colin D wrote, "Disappointed Boims can't relax and love his job. Good to see Mariner realize she's always been okay. King Billups, lol. Really sad for Rutherford. So unhappy. Then so happy when Tendi returns. I continue to just love T'Lyn. Was very disappointed that Gabrielle Ruiz wasn't added to the opening credits. One more thing, Rutherford and Tendi need to admit that they are in love."
Yep, maybe. Continuing along with that, can you take K-Dubs, please, Hawk?
Sure. So K-Dubs wrote, quote, "Rutherford and Tendi need to admit they are in love. This, and I wish Gabrielle had been added to the opening credits. It is very deserved. Good start to season 5. Sarcastic Vulcan salute from the Mirror Freeman, the giant green hand, the triumphant return of Tendi."
Indeed. And Mars wrote, "Well, once again, I'm up at 5 a.m. to watch Star Trek, and it was worth it. Even just for calling the big giant hand in the opening, both these episodes had character depth, laughs, and Easter eggs, hijinks, and more. I'm not reading this right. I don't know what, but I can tell they are dropping threads here to be picked up throughout the season. And boy, am I ready." Indeed. All of us are for sure. Draft, you take Troubles, please.
Trouble wrote, "I would like to know where I can sign up to be an Orion parrot. Cause I also want to take cool things and poke people with pointy objects after watching the first episode. Tendi trying to make Orions more like Starfleet is hilarious to watch because it's like watching an exhausted parent wrangle 2-year triplets. I'm so excited to see where this final season goes, even though there really should be 17 more seasons and a Moopsie first."
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Take us home, please, MC, with NYR Lights.
NY Rawlite wrote, "I couldn't stop laughing at Assistant Captain Naomi Wildman making the 30 under 30 Starfleet honorable mention list instead of Boimler. I hope Nog made the list. He's number 1, man.
Yeah.
The Orion stuff was fun, but I'm glad they brought Tendi back after only 2 episodes. Both episodes were a blast, but at the same time, they make me want to curse Paramount for their stupidity in ending the series."
Dude, as do we all. Yeah. This has been an absolute blast. It has been a long blast. It has been exhausting. I want to thank everyone for staying with us all night. This has just been a fantastic show. We are back at it next week. Now, I said there was going to maybe be a surprise for some people at the end. There is a surprise. I don't know if it's going to happen tonight. I'm hoping that it might, but if it's not tonight, tomorrow morning or very early afternoon, patrons, you are getting early access, like 1 week early access to our interview with Mike McMahon. That is going to drop for you very soon. For the rest of you, that is going to start our show next Thursday night. Our live show will be that interview with
Are
Mike.
we dressing up next week?
I think we have to. It's Halloween. Oh, are we? Yeah, because they'll be done
Oh.
trick or treating at. Oh, but are you going to be done trick or treating, Giraffe? We'll have to think about this. We might reschedule the show for Friday. We'll see. We're going to talk as a crew and figure this
still
out
dress
for
up.
you. We'll still dress up. Stay tuned for what day our show is next week. But either way, our show will begin with our interview with Mike McMahon. Me, Hawk, and Eric got a chance to talk with him. Great chat. And then we'll review episode 503 of Lower Decks. So we look forward to that. But for now, we will say good night. This has been a blast. It's been fascinating. It's been remarkable. For MC, for Hawk, for Giraffe, I'm Julian. Live long and prosper. Majram, sarcastic Vulcan salute. Good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.